Oh there. And I remember doing Raiders of the Lost Art. Remember Raiders of the Lost Art? I decided why not the sequels, that being that's right, Indiana Jones. This one being Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now in 81 was a bit there in 1981. Think about it. You had For Your Eyes Only, the movie I reviewed. You had Time Bandits, the movie I reviewed. And you had a lot of other big films. One of them, again what I reviewed, would have been Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now for people that may or may not know this, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas called it Raiders. I never ever called it Indiana Jones and Raiders. I called it Raiders, because originally it was called Raiders. In the days of theatrical and in the early video, before you had technical and all this stuff, you had Raiders. There's 5 on it that in 82, when video was doing its heyday, it come out on video. When video was first coming out. Right, bit of history here for you. And it actually had, in summer, the adventure continues if Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. You can ever find, I'm not shitting you, the very first videotape of Raiders. You will see that. Because at first, they didn't know it was going to be a bit possessed. And then 2 days later, here we had it, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I love Temple of Doom. I remember going to an arcade, this is a true story, when I was a kid, we used to Uncle James, we used to play arcade games, and they actually had Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The scene where you're going down the mines and all that, that was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And I love Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. To me, it's more of a fun ride, and it still has the other moments in it. The film in America was the first film to be rated a PG-13. Technically you had films before that. And in 84 was also a PG-13 there in America. You had Gremlins by Steven Spielberg in 1984. And you had Red Dawn in 1984. With both PG-13. And the next one would have been Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now originally, it was going to be called Raiders of the Lost Ark 2. They were going to bring back Mario. At the time, Nancy Iron was doing Starman, another film I reviewed. And they decided to go for another girl, a bit of an airhead, blonde hair, time of Hollywood. And originally, they was going to have Sharon Stone. After seeing her in King Sullivan's Mind, I don't know if I really didn't. Because I've heard rumours that Sharon Stone is pretty hard to work with. Don't believe me? Look at a biography called Deadly Blessings with Wes Craven. And look at the biography of King Sullivan's Mind. Believe me, she would have done peanuts a bitch to work with. And even when they did Basic Instincts, yeah, the enjoyment of seeing her open her legs. I know I've got shorts on. Right? There was rumours that she actually slapped, I'm not shitting you, she actually slapped Paul Holden because the bit where she down under was done on purpose. Whether you believe that or you don't, it's a different story. Bear with me. I was about to say before I was rudely erupted, bit of noise downstairs as usual. The film, as we know, was a PG-13, and I was about to say that Temple of Doom was heavily cut. That's right, in the UK it was heavily cut. The scene that people remember where the big die pulls out the die's heart, that was heavily cut. The scene where there was a kid called Sorter gets ripped, you don't see it. But I've actually got the American version. Got it, I'm not going to say how. But I've got it, where you do actually see the bit more, the scene where he pulls the guy's heart out and it goes down into the fire, turns to toast. That's a lot more graphic. And you do see the scene where Sorty gets ripped. Again, it does have a bit of horror into it. It's a lot darker than Raiders. And I do actually look at Temple of Doom as being more of a prequel to Raiders. Because think about it. Raiders was based in 1936, where the Temple of Doom was based on 1935. Again, like I say, all PG-13. You had Gremlins, you had Red Dawn, and you had Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Because of the success of Raiders, you had a lot of pop videos imitating Indy. You had a lot of spin-offs. It's what launched the Temple of Doom. And I fucking love that roller coaster scene where they're moving about and Indy's there. Again, Harrison Ford does a big solid performance. I do actually love that there's a scene where he gets brainwashed and there's a bit where Indy almost goes to the dark side. It's cheaper. And I do love the Indian in it, the one with the bald head like me. Because he's cheaper. He's a guy you don't want to fuck with. And the fact they mixed voodoo, again, mixed with horror, and it has that adventure feel to it. I do love to see where they're in the tombs and you've got the bugs. Definitely makes you scared of bugs. You've got the centipede going up the air of the Bond woman. And that, funny enough, the actress, not long after this, did actually marry, never mind one day, did actually marry Steven Spielberg, who's a well-known actress. She also appeared the same day in a film I reviewed again. That being Dream State. It's kind of an expensive film, but I say that was more of a thriller. But I do like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And I do actually like the extra scenes that they actually cut down to be edited back in. Finding that in the UK, the rest of Britain. But I've managed to get the uncut version of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I do love the scene where the spikes are going down in there. Again, you know what I mean? It's about going over the place. It's not one you buy, it's not realistic. And it's not supposed to be realistic. It's a fucking adventure. And they don't make films like this anymore. So you can kind of see why Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is considered a classic. It's a classic for a damn good reason. Think about it. You see kids getting, I mean, I don't like cruelty to kids, but I think it was ballsy. You see kids getting whipped. You see kids getting battered. It makes you hate the villains more. You've got voodoo in it. You've got adventure. And this one, I felt it was more of a fun ride. It was action and action and action and adventure all the way through the fucking film. All the way through the fucking film. So I can't not Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I can't not it. It has a happy ending. And as sad as it is, they don't make films like that anymore. Why do they not make films like Indiana Jones? So fuck it. I know I'm not going on the dark side, it's a bit dark in my room. So what am I going to rate Indy? Why not? It's a classic, and as I said, they don't make films like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom anymore. A 20-star rating. Because I don't see any faults in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. To me, it's a classic. And it's a damn shame they don't make that. To my eyes, they should make more films like Indy. Instead of all these fucking DC comics, my hero is Indiana Jones. And as the trailer said, his adventure has any name, Indy's your name. It launched the next one being Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And you know, you had after Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, you had a lot of spin-offs. So I like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. As I was about to say before I was interrupted before, Harrison Ford did a bit of pumping up in this. He actually did a bit of weightlifting and injured himself. So the bit where you see a lot of a stunt double doing the film. Again, you got the guy, Pat Roach, as the big Indian. And I like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It's one of them. Am I a Raiders man? Or am I a Temple of Doom man? But if nevertheless, I like them both for two different reasons. Raiders for the horror and adventure. Temple of Doom, that has horror and a lot of adventure, but it's also a fun ride. It never lets go. And it's a damn shame you don't make films like that anymore. They're the films I feel Steven Spielberg sort of stuck with, same as George Lucas. Other than that, as I just said without repeating myself, a 20-star rating, because Indy kicks ass. Another adventure and then says to another adventurer, Adios. Until next time.